Hey, welcome to the Tony Scott Internet Show. Yeah, man. How's it going? Who got surprised by that ice yesterday? Man, kind of brutal. School got canceled out here. But it is December. Boy, did that go by fast? The year? We're already at December. That was fast, man. So the president decided to take some executive action as far as Ferguson goes and things that are going on around the country. He's going to make money available for body cameras. You know, the only problem I have with body cameras is that body cameras will only work when they're on. A lot of times police officers will turn their body cameras off, and when a police officer turns his body camera off, that has to raise a red flag. Now, I know the police union would never go for it, and if I were a police officer, I probably wouldn't go for it either, but it seems like if you don't turn your body camera on, you don't get paid for that day. but that's thinking outside the box, but it's not being very realistic, and I understand that. What almost was just as unrealistic is the NFL disciplining the 5 Rams players who put up the hands up, don't shoot at the beginning of the game Sunday when they beat up on Oakland. St. Louis police is said to be very offended by and disappointed by their actions. Jeff Rorter, who's the business manager for the police union, how did he get that job? But anyway, he was demanding an apology. He was demanding suspensions. The NFL says no. That's all. What else? Anything else? I love that about them. They're like, no. Anything else? Is there anything else we need to address? No, we're not going to do that. All right. Jeff Rorter. Let me be clear on this. Jeff Rorter is a turd. Okay. Jeff Rorter, if you hear Rachel Nichols on CNN tell it yesterday, Jeff Rorter was a former police officer who was fired from his job because he falsified a report against a suspect, and he falsified a report against his police chief. This is what she said. I'm not making it up. She said that yesterday on CNN, that he was fired from his job as a police officer, basically for falsifying reports. How does a man who was fired from his job as a police officer for falsifying reports, how is he able to have a job with the policemen's union? That right there sends credibility out the window. It's gone. How is that even possible? How is it that the police union allows this man to speak for them when he got fired for being dishonest? He was fired. Jeff Rorter. He's the business manager. Now, in what job description does the business manager also become the mouthpiece for the policemen's union? I mean, he is making them look really, really, really bad. Charles Barkley says he supports the grand jury and the cops, and he calls the rioters scumbags. Well, you know what? I agree with you, man. The rioters are scumbags. The protesters are not. Let's be clear. See, that's where the disconnect is in this whole movement that's been going on since Michael Brown Jr. was murdered by Darren Wilson. The thing is that there's a difference between protesters and those who have created mayhem in the form of burning buildings, looting, robbing, things like that, hurting other people. Those are not protesters. And see, that's what people who are, for lack of a better way to put it, who are anti-Michael Brown Jr. don't understand. They won't understand that. Is that the protesters have condemned the violence that have come with this movement. They've condemned it time and time again. So for Charles Barkley to say the rioters are scumbags, that's not news. Of course they're scumbags. The protesters are not. The rioters are. I couldn't agree more. I support I think grand juries, when the system works, they do a fine job. I've said I believe most police officers, in fact, a very high percentage of police officers do great work. But there again, like I've said before, people who do what they're supposed to do, good fathers, good husbands, great police officers, they don't get any shine. It's the ones who are lousy husbands, fathers, and police officers who get all the shine. So we tend to put everybody in the same box. All men cheat. Well, no, that's not true. You see where I'm going with this? It doesn't make any sense to say that all cops are bad. That's just not true. And if you believe that, I feel bad for you, because you're one of those people who like to put everybody in one box. Is that the deal? This, what is it? I saw this on Black Sports Online. My friend Robert Littall runs a great website where he covers sports and other things, but he's a St. Louisan who does some amazing things on his website and is the go-to guy when it comes to sports, things that are sports related, and more. I mean, I'm a big fan of Robert Littall. His blacksportsonline.com website, to me, is a wealth of information for podcasters and content creators like myself. But the Timeout Bar and Grill is no longer going to support the St. Louis Rams. So they'll no longer have happy hours for the Rams games, and all signs and pictures are going to be off the walls. We have to stand up to thugs who destroy our community and burn down local businesses and boycott the other thugs organizations who support them. And there again, this business apparently is not able to distinguish protesters from thugs. Okay? People who raise their hands up in this movement and say, hands up, don't shoot. It's not, at this point, I don't think it's necessarily an attack against police. It's people wanting change so what happened with Michael Brown Jr. never happens again. This is the thing that people don't understand, that African Americans have been getting the crappy end of the stick. I won't even say for a long time. I'll say forever. And Michael Brown's death, through my eyes, was the last straw for young African American males and females too. There's a local rapper here named Tef Poe in St. Louis who tweeted out months ago, "This isn't your parents' civil rights movement." He couldn't have been more right. He couldn't have been more right. This movement is enough is enough, and things need to change. There needs to be more police accountability. If you believe that everything the police does is right, that a police officer can never do wrong, you're not being honest with yourself. That might be your reality. But for people of color, African Americans, Latinos, Asians, Middle Easterns, police harassment is a real thing. And I almost want to say, if you don't understand that, if you're not willing to understand that, you no longer get a seat at the table. You can't even be in the room anymore. Okay, we can't have you around for that anymore, because you are so disconnected. You are so blind with your bigoted views to think that everybody of color, male, African American men, are troublemakers if they sag their pants. I don't like sagging pants. I think it's ignorant. But I'm not ready to say that everybody who sags their pants is ignorant. I'm not ready to do that. There's some people who get caught up. I think bow ties are ridiculous. That's my opinion. I wouldn't wear one, and that's probably why I think they're ridiculous, because I think I would look ridiculous in a bow tie. It doesn't mean that I think everybody who wears one is ridiculous. Doesn't mean that everybody who wears one looks stupid, like I look stupid in a bow tie. Never worn a bow tie since I got married, because I had on a tux. But my point is this: you can't put everybody in the same box. That makes no sense at all. And if you don't realize that, if you have no empathy for your fellow man, and then you have the nerve to call yourself a Christian, you're a Christian. Okay, if you're a Christian, the basic message in the Bible is, let's love one another. Let's love each other. Let's show compassion for each other. Let's help each other. The sins of man, let's not worry about those. Let's put those on God because he tells us to, and he'll take care of it. But no, man. People don't want to look at things that way. The communications director for the politician who criticized Sasha and Malia Obama when they were with the president when he had his turkey pardoning ceremony, and they had this look on their face like, I wish I was doing something else. You know, they got criticized by this woman, and you know, scolded to show more class and, you know, things like that. It was just I read it to you. And 9 hours later, after this woman posted this, she, I guess upon reflection, or actually upon like people telling her, have you lost your damn mind? That she decided to post again, I'm sorry. I would not want to be judged like I judged those young ladies, things like that. And, you know, she said she's sorry. She resigned from her job. And that should be the end of it. But the media, being what it is today, decided, well, let's look into her. And according to SmokingGun.com, apparently when she was a teenager, she got arrested for shoplifting. So that just means she's evil now, right? Look, okay, she allegedly stole something when she was a kid. She got a second chance. Michael Brown was accused of stealing cigarillos, and he got murdered. He got shot to death by cops. But, you know, this woman said she's sorry. What else can she do? What else is she says she was sorry, and she resigned from her job. What else do we want her to do? I think it's time to move on. Let's move on. Let's just move. She's sorry. You could debate all day whether she's sorry or she's sorry she got caught. You can debate that till the cows come home. And where'd that phrase come from? But at the end of the day, she's without a job and she's apologized. Can you get much more from her? I say let it go. Let it go. Ray Rice and Janae Rice have been on TV the last couple days trying to do some rehabilitation of Ray Rice's image. And on the Today Show, Janae Rice says that Ray Rice hit her only that one time. Now, I don't know Ray Rice. I don't know Janae Rice. I know people who know them, but, you know, what does that mean? I know people who knew Michael Jackson. That didn't mean anything. It's just, you know, why'd I even say that? But here's the deal. I feel bad saying this, but I just don't believe Janae Rice when she says Ray Rice hit her only that one time. Well, Tony, where's your proof? I don't have proof. I don't. He didn't hit her like that was the first time he hit her. I'll say that. I'll stand by that. You know, I will. I mean, I think domestic violence is a horrible thing. I do. I think, and I've tried to explain this to a lot of young men, and a lot of young men just don't get it because they're so caught up with I ain't gonna let nobody hit me and get away with it. I don't care if it is a female. If she hits me, I'm gonna knock her out. Well, okay. And then you'll be, you know, like Ray Rice. You'll have to go through the system, you know, and of course you don't have Ray Rice's money. So, which means that you're going to have to hire a lawyer that if you're like me, you cannot afford. And you're going to have to tell your boss that you're going to need time off because you're going to have to go to trial. And he's probably going to let you go because he don't need any of that stink on him, right? You're going to be labeled a woman beater forever. You'll have that in common with Ray Rice. You know? You're willing to risk all that because you will show somebody that you don't hit me without retaliation. You don't see the bigger picture. I guess seeing the bigger picture comes with maturity. My father used to always tell me, what's the big picture here? In any situation, what's the big picture? So, but Janae Rice saying that Ray Rice hit her only that one time. I don't know. I don't have proof. Just to me, it looked like that punch he gave her, it looked like that was not the first time. In my opinion. It's my opinion. Could I be wrong? Absolutely could I be wrong. Do I think I'm wrong? No, I don't. You can disagree with me all you want, and that's fine too. I just don't have a lot of patience in my life for domestic violence, whether men hitting women or women hitting men or people hitting each other. Why do we live in such an angry and hostile world? That's the thing I want to know. Where'd that come from? I'm curious about that. When did we become as, I mean, we've always been angry, but I mean, when did we become just downright hostile and nasty toward each other? When did that happen? I mean, we're snipers laying in the bushes waiting for someone to make a mistake. Doesn't even have to be a famous person. You know, this a woman whose son she got reunited with after a few years. Apparently he was behind a hidden wall for 4 years and all that, you know, and this story comes out and now they're saying, well, she never really filed a police report because of her immigration status. So that makes her a bad mother. But how do you know that? How do you know? Where'd you get that from? You got it from the media, right? You read it on Facebook or you read it. I mean, nobody knows what reason it was. I don't know. I don't even know. I didn't even know she was not from this country. It doesn't matter. But I mean, my point is we will take something and we will run with it. You know, with the story about Elizabeth Lawton, the woman who criticized the Obama girls, when it came out about her shoplifting allegedly when she was a kid, and Donna Brazile, the great Donna Brazile, retweeted it, and then she hashtagged it shameful, and one of her, I guess, followers came back with, you know, did you see Michael Brown's juvenile record? You're a hypocrite or something to that effect. And I actually tweeted the woman and says, have you seen Michael Brown's juvenile record? And she says, no, you make a good point. I hadn't seen it either. You know, she said a couple of, but it's like, as I remember, Michael Brown didn't really have a juvenile record. Did he have a juvenile record? Here's the bottom line. And this is the thing that when it comes to this situation regarding Michael Brown, that people don't want to understand. Michael Brown, whatever it was he did not deserve to die. Did he attack a police officer? I don't know. I wasn't in the car. Darren Wilson says he was attacked by Michael Brown Jr. Michael Brown hasn't been able to say a damn thing. Why? Because he died. So because he died, he's automatically disqualified for, you know, being able to tell his version because it's just not possible. So we'll just believe Darren Wilson. And that'll be the end of it. And that just, you know, you have to understand nothing Michael Brown did warranted what happened in the end. And I'll go back even further. And I've said this before. What happened between Darren Wilson and Michael Brown Jr. would not have happened if Darren Wilson would have talked to Michael Brown Jr. like he was a human being. Him and his friend, Michael Brown Jr.'s friend, walking down in the middle of the street. And Darren Wilson pulls up and tells him something to get the bleep out of the street or something like that. Now, why would you walk up on somebody and say that? Anything that happens after that is going straight downhill. Your approach to people is everything. How we talk to each other is everything. And if you don't see that, man, maybe you should just stay inside for the rest of your life because we got to get better as a people. This is ridiculous for us to have that much anger, that much hostility pent up because we don't understand another culture's life, you know? And you know, people, you need to understand the police are not angels. The police are flawed people like you, like me. They're flawed. They do the best they can, but there are some police officers who are way out of bounds. You don't see that. That's not your world. In your world, the police is your friend. In our world, not so much. Enough of that. Did you see Chris Rock's interview that he did with New York Magazine? They talked about a whole bunch of stuff. Bill Cosby, President Obama, the meaning of racial progress. The reporter asked him how he'd cover the ongoing crisis in Ferguson as a journalist. And Chris Rock says, I'd do a special on race, but I'd have no black people. He says he'd only interview white people because he says, we know how black people feel about Ferguson, outraged, upset, cheated by the system, all these things. He says, here's the thing. When we talk about race relations in America or racial progress, it's all nonsense. There are no race relations. White people were crazy and now they're not as crazy. To say that black people have made progress would be to say they deserve what happened to them before. Did you hear what he said? Did you hear what he said? I mean, he pretty much nailed it, did he not? He pretty much nailed it. I'm sure if you go to NewYorkMagazine.com, you'll be able to see what the deal is on that. What's the deal with the Oprah Winfrey foiled terrorist plot? Did you hear about this? In 2009, when Oprah was still doing the daytime show in Chicago at her Harpo Studios, a small group of terrorists were set to bomb the building, but were caught before they could bring a U-Haul van packed with explosives to Chicago. This is according to Judicial Watch, to Watchdog Group. They're quoting law enforcement and other sources said the militants resented Oprah's popularity and power. The group was also planning to strike the Chicago Sears Tower, which at the time was the country's tallest building. Because it's a landmark, an obvious landmark. Two of the alleged bombers apparently were friends from El Paso. One was an illegal immigrant in an El Paso jail. The other's behind bars in Cook County Jail on charges of making a false car bomb threat. Led police on a high-speed chase through Chicago with an ISIS flag waving from his car back in August. These plots allegedly were never made public. So according to them, they're saying that Oprah was a target of a terrorist group because she was too popular and too powerful. Y'all do know this is a capitalist country, right? It's every man for himself, right? If you do good, great. If you didn't do good, we'll do better. You know, we live in that, and this is the country that we do that in, right? Land of the free, home of the brave. We do all know this, right? I mean, I'm not telling you nothing that you don't know, correct? Wow. Bill Cosby has resigned from his position as a trustee on the board of Temple University. He says he didn't want to be a distraction. He's had that seat for, 30 years? I've always been proud of my association with Temple University. I've always wanted to do what would be in the best interest of the university and its students. As a result, I have tendered my resignation from the Temple University Board of Trustees. This was a statement released by the university. Board Chairman Patrick O'Connor accepted Bill Cosby's resignation. Nobody wants to believe that Bill Cosby could actually be guilty of what he's being accused of. I don't want to believe it. You know? I mean, not because of his role as Cliff Huxtable on the Cosby Show. I mean, I go back to I Spy, Uptown Saturday Night, you know, Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids. I mean, all this. I mean, that's where. I mean, my memories of Bill Cosby go way back, way before the Huxtable thing. You know, and I to be honest, I don't really know what to make of that. I don't know. Does the fact that these revelations are coming out now, all these years later, does it mean that it's not possible? Well, no, it doesn't mean that. Statute of limitations, I think, have run out, so they really can't get any monetary stuff from him. Why make these accusations now, though? And then everybody comes out. Why is that? I don't know. It's just one of those things that I'm just not sure. Does it bother me? Yeah, it bothers me. Sure, it bothers me. You know, I wanted to mention one other thing about this, the situation with Darren Wilson, the Ferguson police officer who resigned, and now they're, the big deal is, well, he resigned, but he didn't get a severance package. Well, then who gets a severance package from who resigns and gets a severance package? I've never heard of that. You get fired, you get a severance. I guess maybe if you retire, but I've never heard of anybody resigning and actually, I'm leaving on my own. Where's my money? I've never heard that before. Maybe it's me. I don't know. Just something I thought I'd throw in there, right? I'm at about 25 minutes, so I think I'll leave it right here. I appreciate you so much for listening. I'm excited to have you come to the first Tony Scott Live that will be in Ferguson Friday night from 6 to 8 p.m. at Kathy's Kitchen to 250 South Florissant. You're invited to come by. It's going to be great. Free admission. If you want to eat or drink, though, that's on your dime, man, because I ain't got no money. I'm just saying, right? That's great. I'm selling coffee mugs with Tony Scott Media on them. If you'd like to mug yourself or mug somebody, you can get it, I believe, at a discount. I believe today might be the last day. I'm going to see if I can get that extended, though, at least through the holidays. But I'll work on that. But you can get your mugs at unheardmedia.biz. You'll see shop at the top. Click that. You'll see the Tony Scott mugs. And there are discounts. And you can just follow the directions and order one. It would be so much appreciated. Speaking of being appreciated, thank you. I appreciate you listening, downloading, sharing. Your support is everything. All right. Have a great day, and I will talk to you tomorrow.